Have you ever wondered why the West is so suspicious of China's technological advancements? What if we told you it all started with the Opium Wars? Yes, you heard it right. The seeds of suspicion were sown during the mid-19th century with the Opium Wars. The Western powers, with their advanced weaponry, forced China to open its markets, leading to a period of unequal treaties, territorial concessions, and economic exploitation. This historical incident left a deep scar on China's psyche, fostering feelings of resentment and mistrust that have lingered since. The West, on the other hand, grew wary of China's potential rise, planting the genesis of suspicion. This uneasy relationship between China and the West set the stage for a dynamic that would only intensify with time. And as we will see, this dynamic took a drastic turn with the advent of the Communist Revolution. This historical backdrop set the stage for an uneasy relationship between China and the West, a dynamic that would only intensify with the advent of the Communist Revolution. As communism took hold in China, so did the deep-seated mistrust between the East and West. The year 1949 marked a pivotal moment in history, with the establishment of the People's Republic of China under communist rule. This ignited a new chapter of heightened tensions between China and Western nations, particularly as the world found itself in the grip of the Cold War. The rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union created a bipolar world order. China, finding commonality in ideological alignment, sided with the Soviet Union. This decision led to a period of isolation and limited engagement between China and the West. As a result, misconceptions and stereotypes about each other's ideologies and intentions began to take root. This ideological divide, steeped in suspicion and mistrust, deepened the rift between the two worlds. It set the stage for the next era of economic reforms and globalization, further complicating the intricate tapestry of Sino-Western relations. The late 70s marked a significant shift for China, but with it came renewed fears and apprehensions. With the initiation of economic reforms under Deng Xiaoping, China pivoted towards market liberalization and global integration. The world's most populous country was no longer a sleeping giant, but a bustling marketplace, hungry for growth and development. However, as China integrated into the global economy, Western anxieties began to stir. The rapid growth and voracious appetite for technology raised eyebrows. Concerns about intellectual property theft, technology transfer, and unfair competition began to surface. Western corporations and governments questioned China's business practices, igniting a narrative of Chinese tech espionage that continues to this day. In the midst of this economic evolution, the Tiananmen Square protests of 1989 became a pivotal moment in China's history. The world watched as demands for political reform and freedom of speech were met with a brutal crackdown. This event not only strained relations with the Western world, but also marked a turning point in China's economic strategy. The focus shifted towards national security and high-tech development, fueling the drive to become a global tech powerhouse. The aftermath of Tiananmen Square also spurred a renewed emphasis on technological self-reliance. China began investing heavily in its own technological capabilities, fostering an environment ripe for innovation, but also for potential intellectual property conflicts. As China embraced the digital age, the stage was set for a new kind of warfare: cyber espionage. The rise of the internet opened a Pandora's box of opportunities for espionage and intellectual property theft. As we stepped into the digital age, the landscape for espionage transformed significantly, and China was quick to adapt. With the dawn of the 21st century, we witnessed a surge in high-profile hacking cases, many of which were attributed to Chinese actors. One of the most infamous was the hacking of Google in 2010, which exposed the vulnerabilities of even the most tech-savvy corporations. In 2015, the Office of Personnel Management breach exposed the personal information of over 21 million US federal employees and contractors, a cyber attack that was traced back to China. These incidents, among others, fueled accusations of state-sponsored cyber attacks and technology theft, painting China as a formidable player in the realm of digital espionage. These cyber espionage activities were not just about information gathering or disruption. They were, and still are, part of a larger strategy to leapfrog technological development, a strategy that often blurs the line between legitimate competition and unfair practices. As these incidents unfolded, the world began to perceive a pattern that suggested a systematic state-sponsored effort to steal technology and intellectual property. This digital battleground brought forth a new player that would become the poster child of Chinese tech espionage: Huawei. Enter Huawei, a company that would soon find itself at the center of a global controversy. As the world catapulted into the era of 5G, a technology offering unprecedented speed and connectivity, Huawei, a Chinese telecommunications giant, was poised to lead the charge. But instead of international acclaim, Huawei found itself in a storm of controversy. The United States government, in 2019, blacklisted Huawei, citing serious national security concerns. The move sent shockwaves around the world, intensifying scrutiny of Chinese companies operating in the West. Allegations began to swirl around Huawei. Claims of forced technology transfers, intellectual property theft, and potential backdoors in Huawei's equipment began to emerge. The fear was that these backdoors could allow the Chinese government unprecedented access to sensitive data, raising the specter of state-sponsored espionage on a global scale. The narrative took a darker turn, with Huawei and other Chinese tech firms painted as Trojan horses for Beijing's intelligence agencies. But it wasn't just about Huawei. The controversy surrounding the company was symptomatic of larger fears about China's technological ambitions. The Chinese government's ambitious Made in China 2025 plan, aimed at propelling the country to the forefront of high-tech industries, further fanned the flames of suspicion. The plan's emphasis on sectors like robotics, AI, and semiconductors raised alarms in the West, with claims that China was seeking to dominate these critical industries, potentially undermining national security. Meanwhile, at the helm of China's technological drive was President Xi Jinping. His consolidation of power and assertive leadership style, coupled with a revival of Maoist ideology, have exacerbated anxieties about China's long-term intentions. The question on everyone's mind is, will China play by the global rules of trade and competition, or does it have its own playbook? As we look to the future, China's ambitious Made in China 2025 plan and President Xi Jinping's consolidation of power continue to stoke the flames of suspicion and unease. So, there you have it. A journey through time exploring the roots and evolution of China's technology spying. We've delved into the Opium Wars, shedding light on how this historic event stirred mistrust between China and Western nations. We've examined the impact of the Communist Revolution and the Cold War, isolating China and the West and reinforcing stereotypes. We've also touched on the economic reforms and globalization of China, which brought about concerns of intellectual property theft and unfair competition. We've seen how the rise of the internet and digital technologies gave rise to new forms of espionage. And we've explored the controversies surrounding Huawei and 5G, as well as China's ambitious industrial policy, Made in China 2025. As the world continues to grapple with the realities of a digital age, one thing remains clear. The mythology surrounding China's technology spying is a complex tapestry woven with history, politics, and economics.